Good evening. It's Tuesday, the 6th of August, 2026, and I'm delighted to be chatting about social media advertising with BB Elsin, Beth, who, as you can see behind her, is a historical fantasy author, novelist, currently writing second, and as well as poet and short story author. So Beth is prolific because I see her all the time, certainly on Facebook. So we will touch on social media as a whole, because advertising, social media advertising, we think of paying to advertise, but that's easier said than done. A, because it swallows budgets, and also people don't necessarily want to see buy my book, buy my book, buy my book adverts. So since you've been a novelist, either novelist or your collection, Coffee and Commute, what kind of advertising do you do? Because they've been out for a little while. So, because obviously there's a run up, if you've got a book coming out, then people tend to advertise on, or at least say, I've got this book coming out, how exciting. And there are ways of means of advertising. I'm listening to the moment, I'm listening to a podcast called, just go over to it, Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. And they even stumble over the name. But that's what it said. It was all about keywords and algorithms, as social media advertising is. And they said that really, if you're doing a newsletter, if you're posting on social media, that really no more than 25% should be about the book. And part of the reason why I set Self Pub Fest up is because it's getting people to know authors. And I think that's the thing. On social media, people don't want to be bombarded with adverts, even though we get them. So what kind of, when your book was coming out or was out, how did you change anything in social media? Because obviously before you had a book out, you had friends and chatted with them, and and then once you
Yes.
become an author, how did
Yeah.
it change for you?
Um, I think initially I took advice from Troubadour about book marketing, advertising, and predominantly my choice was Amazon ads.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I have since with Coffee and Commute, I've started learning how to do those myself rather than relying on uh, well, some marketing expertise.
Right.
Um, and there are things that you have to learn about bids for positions on particular search arguments,
Mm.
et cetera, et cetera. And I think a lot of people do cotton on to that quite quickly, how to do that.
Mm.
My experience, though, both from the more formal marketing help and from doing it myself, is that you can drive clicks, but uh, I think there's still a lot of unknown unknowns about
Mm.
what converts clicks into sales. So I think that I'm still learning. I do have a limited budget, and more importantly, I think I have limited time.
Mm.
Another author said to me recently, "Well, if you have time constraints, then focus on writing your sequel because nothing gives a viewer confidence in a book than to see
Mm.
that there are others."
Yeah.
Um, so that's more or less what I'm doing now. In the meantime, I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. Um, I don't know how many times you have to post to get on people's radar. Um, my observation is that people who are influencers and have followers of thousands,
Mm.
they really have to post quite original stuff several times a day.
That's the
And
impression I get. Yes,
if one
definitely
were to do this, you would have no time to write.
no.
Um, and uh, obviously, doing nothing is giving up, really. Um, but um, I mean, most of the people who see what I post are fellow authors like you, or they're friends that I've had for decades, and they've seen it all before.
Right.
Um, Breaking out from my normal parameters, I do my best with the hashtags, but it takes quite a bit of effort, I think, for people to do it. And let's be realistic. I mean, the book marketing world is about money. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of books published every year,
Mm.
even every month, and only a very few of them will get the type of marketing budget that truly drives people to buy.
Mm.
So it's all a matter of proportion. And I'm really glad I'm not a young person starting out with huge hopes because I think every time you do something and you hope that you might see some
Mm.
different reposts and so on, it normally doesn't happen.
Mm. Well, one thing that's come up quite often, just going back to what you said about how often do you have to post, I've heard more than once from different sources that generally you see something 7 times and then it really stick. Oh yes, and on the podcast today they were saying that they might not have them. They might see something and think if it's just a simple, oh yes, that looks good, click buy, and they're busy, that's fine. Then if they see it again, if they haven't got time, they'll leave it. But if they then see it again and they've got more time, there's more likelihood that they will then pay attention and read the blurb. And generally, she said there are the first, you've got to grab people in the first 4 or 5 lines
Mm,
enough so that they then click on see more or read more and read the rest of it. So it is all about those sort of bullet point grab yous at the beginning. Um, and the main difference between Amazon ads and you were saying about pay per click, which is that's the thing I like about Amazon ads
mm,
is that you put the keywords up and but the more you bid, the higher cap you have, the more chance you have to appear on page one. But if say your keyword is Lee Child and you've written a thriller, you'd have to probably have a bid of £2 to appear on the first page. And if you're earning, say, £1.80 for a book, it's a lost leader.
mm,
But you appear on the first page. And most people don't go past sort of the second or third page, so you may never be seen. So, up to a point, you need the rarest, either the rarest um, keyword, but then who will look for that? Or if you happen to pick something that nobody's thought of, but is, say, there's something come up that you spotted something in the news that fits it, you could then put that in, whatever
mm,
it is. I don't know. There's an anniversary of JFK or something, and people are looking for books on JFK. Um, and it's so the thing I like about Amazon is that people, if even though you're paying whatever it might be, anywhere from five, I think 2p is the lowest bid, up to say 40p per click, somebody's already shown interest. I mean, you have a very striking cover. So you would like to think that somebody's clicked on your advert because you've got a striking cover, and then they'll read the blurb and think, oh yes, that's really good, and they'll click on the read more, and then they'll go through and then buy it. I know with my dog detective, O. Henry up there, that I sold one to somebody who was looking for a lawnmower manual, instruction manual. Now, I would not put lawnmower instruction manual as a keyword. So you have to be realistic about the kind of thing. So it'd be dog detective novels or dog detective novels set in England, that kind of thing has to be relevant. Otherwise, you're wasting your money really
Mm.
by being too obscure. So the pro with Amazon ads is that you only get charged if somebody clicks on the advert. So they're already interested. And then, but I think it's they have to then buy it within 24 hours.
Right.
You might save it, and if they buy it 2 or 3 days later, it doesn't then register that was, so you might get a click and think you haven't got a sale, but then 2 or 3 days later, you might have a sale from that advert, but not know because it didn't register within as a sale within 24 hours. Facebook adverts notoriously eat money.
Mm.
I was recommended that the budget, and I have done it once for a course, creative writing course I was doing, and I set a budget of £5 a day, which, if you have an average month of 30 days, that's £150 a month. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
And I have spent that much on Amazon advertising, but generally sort of in the run up to Christmas. And I'm not even breaking even on Amazon ads. But the trouble with all of these, and the thing I like about Facebook adverts, is that it's with any Facebook post, people can like it, they can comment on it, and so you get to connect with potential readers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's costing you more money because you then get charged for every time it's shown. And so you have to be very careful when you're setting it up to target the right kind of audience. And I think you can, from memory, you can set it for certain areas geographically and male or female reader of specific age range. And so you can be quite tailored with where it appears, but it costs you more. However, you do get, with Amazon ads, you have no clue who's buying it. And even if they then later leave a review, there's no way to correlate between whether they bought it from that click
Mm-hmm.
or whether they just happened to stumble upon it. So there are pros and cons against each of them. And it goes to the age-old question of I'm everywhere, but I do Facebook a lot. I tend to share things rather than post original stuff. I tend to share a lot of things on Facebook, which is another way of getting traction
Yeah.
without. So that's literally just a click, and then it's I might put in a comment. I may not. I may just share it if I think it's something that people will find useful, and then I'm still out there without taking much time.
Mm.
X, Twitter, I used to be on a lot, but not so much these days. It's only if I've got something specifically to say that I open it up and then go on it. And I have a nerdy Excel spreadsheet, which if anybody's been watching this for a while will surprise nobody, because I have nerdy Excel spreadsheets for everything. And I have a list of my 600-ish Facebook groups, writing related groups that I'm in. And they're all catalogued into whether they might be genre specific or posting for Kindle KDP, if your book is in KDP or Kindle
That's a
Unlimited or
huge amount
whatever
of
it is.
groups. I
So it's
mean,
taken a long time over the last sort of 4 or 5 years to set all that up. And then I've got the website link. So all I need to do then is click.
Mhm.
And it also says whether they're pending groups, because that's another thing. If you've got something that's timely, you might want to share it with groups and say this afternoon, if I'd gone on to groups to advertise for tonight, then if I don't bother with the pending, the groups that, because then that goes to admin and then you've got to wait. It may be the following day, by
Mhm.
which time you've missed it. So if you've got a Kindle countdown or a free book coming at the weekend, then what I tend to do is if I've got a bit of notice, say 2 or 3 days ahead, then I'll do the pending groups first. So then that gives them a chance, the admins a chance to approve it
Mhm.
before the event happens. Equally, I've been in the Facebook sin bin several times, and there is, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it then escalates the time. So I was in the sin bin, which means I can only post to groups, to my profile, or groups that I'm admin for, which aren't many. And so, and the first time was a day, and then I think the second time was 3 days, and then I think the third time was a week, and then I think I had 2 weeks, and then I think the next one is a month, and then they kick you off. So I have to be very careful. But I have just bought some social media, which I was hoping to get to before this, but we'll run the topic again. Some social media scheduling software called Content 360. And I did my due diligence. It's one of these that now, and I've noticed that some things that back in the day, things like Brian Cohen, Brian with a Y, Cohen, Cohen, runs, it used to be Amazon ads for authors, and then Facebook ads came along, and now it's author ad school, where and I'm what's called grandfathered in, so I paid a lifetime membership. It's now subscription only, and he is literally a school. Him and his gurus are a school for doing Amazon ads, Facebook ads, cover design, things like that. So it's a brilliant resource, and so this Content 360, I've noticed that for a long time things were one-off fee, and then they went over to subscription model, but now certain things seem to be going back to a lifetime, whether they're new, because Content 360 is quite new, but it's old enough to have got some good reviews, and I'm assured that it's genuine, and the guy does webinars, and so it's more serious than just a fly by night, you know. And so I can do social media scheduling with that.
Mhm.
And any pictures I use, I have to host somewhere, whether it's on my website or somewhere else. They have to be hosted somewhere else. And I haven't used it yet, but there are, I think, 20 different places that you can post to. So you just set up one post and it can go to all these. So the question of, do you belong to all of them and post rarely, or do you um, select the sites that suit you best or suit your target audience best? So, say if you've written a children's book, you wouldn't not necessarily want to post on I was going to say TikTok, but say Snapchat, because young children probably aren't on Snapchat. Parents of young children may not be on Snapchat, but teenagers, early 20s could be. So you're limiting your audience. If you're concentrating on, say, something for a certain age range, I think we're probably okay with Facebook. Um, but there's Facebook, Twitter. I'm in a writing in a um, book group called New Street Authors, based up in Birmingham. David Wake, who I'm sure you've come across, he's one of the regulars. He runs New Street Authors in Birmingham, which is a writing group solely for self-published authors. So everybody is talking about, and some of them are traditionally published as well, but they're talking about self-publishing, and there's a social side and a serious professional side, and it's brilliant. And we have a Zoom every Thursday evening. And the topic of blue sky came up,
Oh,
which I think is I don't know whether it's Facebook's equivalent of X.
I don't know whose equivalent of X it is,
No,
but it is an X lookalike.
yes.
And I heard from somebody at your last live Lit Fest, sorry, not
Mm.
the last one, April, who
Yes,
said that
in
Blue
Aylesbury.
Sky advertising had been good for him. Now,
Okay.
I have not done any advertising. I have done some posts which
Mm.
go nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, and I've noticed that it doesn't seem to be very tailored in terms of the sort of material that it lays before you,
Right.
um, regardless of what you've set up as preferences.
Mm.
So my experience so far is that it's an interesting platform. I I think possibly there's less bots and
Mm.
false identities there. They were quite careful in vetting me to make sure I was a
Okay.
proper adult and things like that. So
Yeah.
uh, there are a lot of things about it which are positive, but I don't know how much traction it really has.
No.
That may not be a bad thing if
Right.
you know it's appealing to people who are serious about life and therefore probably serious about reading.
Mm. Because the thing about joining a new, because I joined Blue Sky, I don't know if I ever shared on it, did anything on it. Um, but because if you join a threads I'm on, and because that's connected with Instagram and Facebook, when I post on Instagram, it automatically goes on threads. And they do seem to have linked up the fact that I've got however many I have 3,000 friends on Facebook, um, and I don't know how many on Instagram, about 1,000 I think. And they do seem to be going, oh, you're friends on Facebook, let's connect you on threads. So it's almost semi-automated that I already have an audience because they're connected. And if I'm sharing on one, it appears on the other one, which is brilliant.
Mm.
Whereas Blue Sky, I don't think it's connected to anything. So
No.
I haven't gone on it, and therefore I've probably got one friend.
Mm.
And I did join TikTok. I think it was about a year ago. I think it was August last year. It may have been earlier, longer ago than that. And I posted once, and it got 270 something views. And that was an advert for the author spotlights when I had
Mm.
20 something, 74 now. And but I then spent so I did nothing, and I kept hearing, oh, you should go on TikTok and put videos up and get people to know you. So I thought, okay, I walk the dog every morning, so I'll get my phone, which is good quality, and I'll take some whatever is going through my mind at the time. And I think it was October, November, so I just started eating more healthy. Um, and so I was talking about that and talking about the dog, and not really a lot about writing. And I thought I'll try it for a week. So I did 10-minute videos every morning for 4 days. I then took a look that evening, so the evening of the fourth day, and I spent 2 hours blocking mostly American widows, army majors. Oh, you're so beautiful. Even though it was me first thing in the morning, I don't really wear makeup anyway, but wind blown, and because it was autumn, and I spent 2 hours blocking them all, just delete, and then their comments go. That was the main reason to stop them commenting because there's all these comments. And I thought I don't really want to spend 2 hours every 4 days blocking these people.
And the more one is out there, the more scams come your way. I was going to ask you about TikTok because I just tried to access TikTok to have a look,
Okay.
because people have been kind of bending my ear about BookTok. You know, you really need to get in with the BookTokers.
Yes. And Bookstagram on Instagram.
Um, and instantly I was hit. I mean, I am autistic, so consequently a bit kind of sensitive, if you like.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was bombarded with this hip hop stuff,
Right.
which screamed at me, "Go away, Crumbly. This is not your territory."
No. And that's the
Young
thing. I think
people.
it is a younger audience.
Yeah,
But the thing about, I mean, Harry Potter was read by 6 to 106-year-olds, and probably younger
yes.
than six, have it read to them. Um, and so any book, unless it's for an adult audience, 18 upwards, is going to appeal to everybody. So in
Mm,
a way, you want to have be on one social, say a TikTok for the teens, 20s. I don't know. I don't know the age range of X, but let's say X for the 30s, 40s, Facebook for the 50s, 60s, and maybe older. I don't know. Um, but yes, it's kind of how a balance between how much time do you spend doing it, because also another thing is you don't know if you post something who's going to see it. So out of my 2000 whatever Facebook friends, who is going to be on, because it'll only be on the homepage for a few seconds. A um, who's going to happen to see it when it goes on the homepage. um, B, it, who will it be sent out to? So will Facebook show it to anybody? They might just show it to one person who happens to not be online at the time.
yeah.
Because they're
The
always, Facebook's very
timing.
keen on boosting posts, which I've never done, and
Mm,
I've heard doesn't really work to pay
mm,
to have your posts boosted. I
mm,
think I'd rather have an advert, because at least the advert, then you have people commenting and then commenting on comments,
yes.
and it's seen more often than it may be more expensive than a
Mm.
boosted post. But I think if you've got something to say, so I think the October festival will be worth having taking out a Facebook advert.
Mm.
But then I would just have a smaller geographical area. Um,
I'm told that timing matters a lot with social media, and one should try and post at around 9 o'clock, or no, sorry, it was 10 o'clock, which is when people tend to take their first coffee break
right.
in the working day.
Yeah.
Um, and at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, when people are arriving home
Mm,
and checking their social media.
mm.
Um, and there are significant differences. I'm also on LinkedIn, of course, with my business persona.
Yes.
Um, and there are also particular days. Apparently, Tuesday is a good day to post
Mm,
on LinkedIn,
right.
mm, versus
Like
the
this.
other days of the week. And that I don't know whether anybody has come up with a theory as to why that might be.
Right.
People are doing their social media.
Yeah. See, I haven't posted on LinkedIn for probably years. I looked on Pinterest, because that's another thing, Pinterest. And that's the trouble. There are so many of them. And the two main ones that I've heard get real traction recently are LinkedIn and Pinterest. And I went on to opened up my Pinterest page the other day. I hadn't been on it for 13 years. So
Yeah.
I'm way behind.
Mm.
And I like the idea. So I've taken August off. But by the time I get to halfway, because I've got Swanwick next week and then got family wedding, So I've got a couple of weeks before work starts coming back in, um, to at least learn Content 360, see if it's any good, create some posts. I subscribe to Canva, which is brilliant. I've just created a quiz. So I'm doing the quiz at Swanwick
Mhm.
and in Derbyshire. And so I've just done that on Canva as a PDF slideshow. So that's fun.
Mm.
So yeah, so the arty side appeals to me of creating lots of pretty posts. And as with most of these things, with Canva, you can have a picture of, say, somebody on a beach holding a Kindle. Other
Mhm.
e-readers are available, and then you just get your picture, drag it in, and it locks it, and then it looks like they're reading your book.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I plan on going. Luckily, I only have 6 books. Well, one that's a standalone. That's the first in a series of 6, but the other 5 are novelettes, so they're sort of between 15 and 20,000. And then those 2 are about 40,000 each, and then those are 100,000 each. So my plan between now and as soon as I can, really, now and Christmas, is to go back through them all and re-edit them. And another thing I heard on this marketing podcast today, and that's another question. We will be talking about covers another time. Is some authors revise their cover once a year. Now, I really like my covers, and I
Mm.
don't really want to change them. And I think they do what they say on the tin. So I'm loath to, and it's another thing is because obviously a book cover matters. And if you've got an advert on, so they're still in line with social media and advertising. If you've got someone scrolling down through, say, dog detective books, and a lot of the dog detective and cat detective and knitting crime novels and all those
Mhm.
are illustrated rather than, I mean, well, that's a photo, and the other covers are the same picture, but the dog is different on each one, and obviously the title's different. So do I keep with a cover because it stands out amongst the other ones, which I like the idea of? Somebody scrolling through, same, 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 same. Oh, look, there's one that's different. Or do I make it so it looks like everything else because that's what readers expect?
Mm.
So how long is a piece of string, really?
Yeah.
What do you do for the best? I think the book cover represents the books. So, and I like that. Yeah. So again, in this marketing podcast, they said, well, the readers, they get authors coming to them. I really like my cover. I don't want to change my cover. Yes, but it's not what readers expect.
Mhm.
So I don't know. There we go. So how often do you still run Amazon adverts?
I do from time to time, yes.
Right.
Um, it's really a case of when my head's in the right place to go on to KDP and fiddle with the formulae.
Right.
Um, and um, I mean, you can run Amazon ads at fairly low risk.
Mm.
And that's what I like about them.
Mm.
Um, Now, obviously, low risk, low returns. Um, but yeah, I think people who try something and then try something else and kind of can refine it, I think do start to see results from Amazon ads.
Mm.
As you say, other types of online ads really it's difficult to make a case for them if you're on a limited budget.
Mm. Because also Amazon are there. People go on Amazon to purchase an item,
Yes.
whereas they go on Facebook to look at dog and silly cat videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're not necessarily looking to buy. So you on Amazon, you've got the captive audience already, and
Yeah.
so people have put in something like dog detective novel.
Mm.
So you've got them there already, and I'm more than happy to spend money on people seeing my advert. And because Amazon, so what of the, although I'm not getting to liaise with anybody, I don't find out who does or doesn't buy the book or why they don't if they don't. Um, I think they are more of a serious audience. But I will try Facebook ads once I re-edit my books. And I have a really good proofer who he's an editor as well, and a very good friend. So always useful to for me to go through them and then send them to him. And he knows now not to add Oxford commas because he's a big fan of Oxford commas and I'm not.
Oh, right.
Commas serve a purpose, and have too many and it slows the pace. But
Mm.
there we go. Yes. So do you read your reports when you go on Amazon? Do you see what works and what doesn't? And because some people then pick out the winning keywords, as it were, and then rerun a new advert with the sort of the greatest hits of your
Mm.
of the
Yeah.
keywords.
Again, it does take time to understand the reports.
Mm,
Uh, I mean, initially, you just say squiggles on a page. The devil's in the detail,
mm,
which of course you do need to interrogate.
mm,
Um, so yeah, it's not kind of, I suppose one would hope as an advertiser, that you, and particularly in these days of AI, that you would get a little summary report saying, okay, dear advertiser,
mm,
this is what's working, this is what's not working. Do
mm.
you want us to automatically adjust?
Yeah.
Is what I would like to see from Amazon ads and all online ad platforms, but
Mm,
you don't get it.
mm.
I mean, it's the same with Google Analytics. Um,
Right.
doesn't it will show you the squiggly lines, but again, in these days of AI, would it be so hard to say, um, dear website owner, this is what's working.
Mm,
Um, have you thought of? Um,
yeah.
anyway, there we go.
Yes, it's just and you hit the cliched nail over the cliched head of taking so much time,
Mm,
which is why I like the idea of having a device or this Content 360 to do it for me.
mm,
Where there's some setting up in the first instant, but then it then does the work thereafter. It's just a case of setting time aside
mm,
to do it. And it's getting finding the balance between saying I've got a 6 year old book that's not doing what it should be doing. Please go buy it.
mm,
To I'm a really nice person. I love my book. Yes, it's been out a while, but I still love it. It's my child, and it's off to university. It's so old. Um, but yes, it's interesting, isn't it? And what works for one person may not work for somebody else. When you're saying about Blue Sky, um, this conversation in New Street Authors, one of the chaps there, it was on WhatsApp. He said it was anybody on Blue Sky. Of course, everybody pitches in either yes they are, no they're not, or yes they are, they don't do anything with it, or yes they are, and they've made some good friends from it. But the general consensus was, oh no, it's gone the way of what was that begin with an M? MySpace.
mhm,
That it was just, I think that the because we have less time these days, we may be on Facebook for a little while and then we're busy. We're 5 minutes here or there before we go down various rabbit holes. And so it's finding the right outlet for us. and saying the right things.
Mm. Yeah,
We just have to try, don't we?
we do.
And see what works. But again, what works today may not work in a week's time.
Yes. Yeah.
So we just enjoy it in the process. It's a necessary marketing, a necessary evil.
Mm.
But in the meantime, we make some lovely friends. Because back in when I first went on Facebook, whenever that was, 2013, I think it was, maybe, well, if Pinterest was 13 years ago, probably more older than that. 2008, 2009, I think, when I took writing seriously. Made some really good friends
Mm.
over the years. So, an
I, th
added bonus.
I think the the big question for self-published authors is um, is the cost, because why do we publish? We publish for ourselves. We are not big commercial successes, and consequently, we have to accept that limitation.
Mm,
That whatever marketing we do, um, you know, we might get dozens, but we're not going to get hundreds and thousands.
mm,
So I think people should be quite tough with themselves in terms of deciding what to do, and um, maybe looking out for specialist communities in whatever platform you prefer,
mm,
in order to connect with them rather than assume that through advertising you can reach everybody out there that
yeah.
might be interested in your genre.
Yes. Well, I think we just have to persevere and take little steps, as you say, just not go too mad with our advertising budgets.
There's
Um,
plenty of people that want to take our hard-earned money off us,
exactly.
and it may or may not, mostly may not, make any difference.
Mm. Yes, I think we know enough people, and whenever often when I go on Facebook and it shows me groups, there'll be people there saying, "Oh, I've got an email from a publisher and they want to publish my book, and I've only got to pay them £100 deposit or something," and everybody's going, "No, it's a scam."
Mm,
So and I have a very, I've told you this before, I'm sure, where I have a very sarcastic email, where I reply it only if they call me by, if they put my name, if they address the email to me. If they just go hi or dear author, I don't bother. I just
right.
block them and delete it. But I know that if they put my name, they're going to keep going. So I
Mm,
have this very, and it's just copy and paste, very sarcastic email about what everybody else does.
mhm,
Oh, I get emails and they do this. Why would they do that? And with a very, very thin veil as to you're doing exactly the same thing. And
mhm,
then I just end it by saying, I only work with people who have been personally recommended. Please remove me from your list. No reply required or wanted. If
mhm,
they're polite, I'll take out the or wanted, no reply required. But generally, I'll go no reply. And occasionally, I might get an email that says, "Oh, I totally understand. I know there are a lot of rogue um, marketeers out there, and totally respect that. Thank you for letting us know. We'll take you off our list." But there are a few who just go, "Oh yeah, that's not me," and I just ignore it and delete it. They get one chance, and that's it. So there we go.
Well,
Hard
on
skins. We
that note,
Well, I think we've known for years that writers have to have tough skins,
hmm,
and I think none tougher than these days.
yeah,
But equally, it's a very rewarding. It's the community. I think it's the community that keeps us going. Other writers that keep us going.
hmm, yes, yes. Other writers, our the that's the support network. But there's so many people who are not writers who
Mm.
see that community, which is growing, as an opportunity to make a quick buck.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you, out of interest, do you read your reviews for your books?
I do, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I say well, I don't mainly because I don't think of looking.
Mm.
Um, and
But the
I
good bit
should.
you can, of course, use in your posts. So
Yes,
that's
exactly. Well,
always worth doing.
this is why I love blog tours. So once I've gone back through my books and I'm happier with them, happy with them, I am happy with them, but it's never any harm to re-edit every few years. Um, and then I'll organise a blog or get a blog tour organizer, and get some fresh reviews, and get them back out there, because I think that's a very inexpensive way. You know, you could spend 60 or £200 easily on Facebook,
Mm.
whereas I would rather spend the money doing blog tours, getting a blog tour organizer to
So
send it out to blog tours.
blog tour organizers, I mean, again, are there reputable and less reputable ones?
There are, let me just go into my emails. There's a lady called Anne Cater, Cater. I can't remember. Have I got? Let me just search for blog tours. There's Rachel's random resources. I think it is blog tour operators. Here we go. Yeah, we've got. Um, um, oh, photo. There we go. Love Books Tours. So that's Kelly Lacey, KELLYLACEY.com. She's Love Books Tours. Zulu, that's zulusbooktours.co.uk. So ZOOLOOS booktours.co.uk. I have got a page actually on marketing, and one of the sub pages is book tours
Mhm.
on Self Pub Fest. And then Rachel's with an S, random resources, RESOURCES, .com. And then, oh gosh, this is a long one. Random things through my letterbox, blogspot.com. But go to Self Pub Fest
Mhm.
marketing page, and there's a sub page on blog tours
Right.
under there, and I've got a
Okay.
bit about those. But that I think, if you've only got a little bit of money to spend, 60 to £100, because the cost and Amazon terms of service is you're not to pay for reviews. But what you're doing is you're paying for the blog tour organizer to send your book as an ebook. Generally, occasionally they might want a paperback, to for their time to contact the blog tour operators who are most suitable for your book. Obviously, you don't, you know, if somebody only reads children's books, then you're not going to necessarily want them to review Heroes and Traitors. Um, and then they set up a tour like you would in a book tour. So you might go from, say, Marlow to High Wycombe to Chorleywood and do the bookshops. This is the same thing online. And the cost varies because, and one of them has the price sheet. I can't remember which one it is, but one of those has got a link to the price sheet. And so, say for instance, you wanted one blogger per day for 3 days. That's probably the minimum.
Mm.
And then, or you might have 3 blog tour operators per day for a week. Then you get 21 reviews. And in theory, they'll put their review on Amazon. But I know Amazon is getting more particular about who puts reviews,
Mm.
um, because now they're calling them verified purchase or verified purchaser. Yeah.
Mm.
So more and more they're if somebody's bought the book and reviews it, so bought it from Amazon, reviews it on Amazon, then it comes up as verified purchase, I think it is. And then they're more keen on those. Whereas obviously
Yes, they always come top in the list.
you're emailing the
Fair
blog
enough. Yeah.
tour operator with your ebook and your cover and your blurb and your biography and a picture of you. That's generally what they need. And then you arrange a week where you're not particularly busy, and they can do it, say a month in advance or something. And then you're just to make yourself available to share their posts on your site and on social media and so on. So it's a very inexpensive way, and it doesn't break Amazon's terms of service, which is the most important thing, because you're not paying for the reviews. You're just paying for the tour operator's time. So that's my tip from all of this.
Okay.
Is blog tours.
Excellent. Well, I think we're getting near to your time limit.
We are, yes, for the hour for TikTok.
Yes.
Thank you, Beth.
Anyway, thank you very
Pleasure as
much for
always.
the
You're very
tip.
welcome. See you after my break.
Okay, have a lovely break.
And thank you very much for buying my 2027, which is there. My 2027. I haven't got the 2028 yet, because there's another thing. Amazon will only let you publish 10 new titles in each format. So you could have 10 paperbacks. And because I do two with this one, the dog, and I have dog, cat, transport and entertainment and gardens. That's 5. So 2 view per week and 4 pages per week. That's the 10 just in that. So I missed the window for the 2028, but that's light blue. So I've done you dark blue for this year, next year, and then light blue for 2028. There we go. So thank you for buying the 2027.
Oh, I'm looking forward to planning out my writing year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you after my mini break.
Okay. Bye for
Thanks,
now.
Beth. Bye.